What up traders, what up investors, Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and we have a fantastic video for you today. We have a lot of news coming out today. We have Tesla rallying on the response of President Trump tweeting that he's doing the right thing. We have Uber making a bid for Grubhub. We have a lot of people, and due to the overall meat shortage here in the United States, due to the pandemic and the virus, with food getting affected, Beyond Meat, the vegan option to meatless products, is rallying, and of course Shopify, that's again going a lot to seeing a lot of the malls closing down and not reopening, and a lot of people need to get their shopping addiction on, and Shopify is there to help them with that. So let's go ahead and jump into the very first story, which we kind of covered quite a bit already. Again, all the links that we're going to be talking about here are going to be in the description below. So basically, Tesla has been, what we're going to do is go through each of the stories and then at the end go through the chart. So Tesla has been rallying due to the fact of Elon Musk fighting with the local government in his area. The local government official basically told him, like, F you, and he said message received. That's fine. He's being very adamant of having to open up his plant in Fremont, California. President Trump, as we said, is that California should allow him to open the plant now, in big all caps there, with emphasizing the now part. Again, this is not a very black and white scenario. There are both sides of the field that are really being split. There is a side of like, hey, let's get back to work and get the company up and running, but then there's also the huge issue of safety, and those are kind of big teeter-totters on a lot of people's minds on potential of what is the impact if we open up and what's the impact if we don't, and that's basically where it comes to the teeter-totter of what is going to be happening. Then we can go look at Uber making a bid for Grubhub, an all-stock purchase. So basically, Grubhub wants 2.15 Uber shares for each Grubhub share. So that's basically, I think they said estimating around a little bit over $70 worth of Grubhub price. Again, there's no cash involved. This is a all stock deal. Again, this is on the influx of the overall pandemic, with food delivering cost being kind of high, and trying to give a lifeline to the small business owners. Uber Eats trying to become profitable by driving that price down and allowing more coverage across most of the United States, with acquiring Grubhub and allowing those customers to switch to Uber Eats. This is, I believe, I think it's a great idea. Again, this is going to help bring prices down, hopefully, for Uber Eats cost. And then also, there is no real secret sauce, is there? There is no secret sauce on food delivery. It's point A, you pick up the food, point B, you take it to the destination. Yeah, there's customer service involved, but that is, it kind of comes down to those very stuff. And the secret sauce is basically what is the cost to the consumer and how much of a percentage are they taking out from the restaurant's overall ticket pricing. This is an add-on for a lot of small restaurants to allow them to increase ticketing prices, to look at for growing this business, because again, most restaurants all restaurants that I know are really struggling due to the fact of not able to open up, to have their doors open minus takeout, not allowing just the convenience of people going out and spending money, and they just need to be somewhat incentivized to kind of help through this pandemic. So we're going to be looking at that stock chart here in a second between Grubhub and Uber. Next is going to be Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat is basically just popping off as well, again, due to the overall issues within Tyson's and the overall pandemic with huge meat shortages, and then looking at the issues within the meat processing facilities on those employees getting sick and being still able to work, not even knowing they had it, and having a lot of issues around that with a lot of factories and those processing plants being completely shut down or limited staff, so the capacity is much less, even though the need for meat products has gone up due to everyone staying at home and just basically going to the grocery store back and forth. And then last, we're just going to do a quick identification of Shop. Shop is just up for so many different reasons. Again, they had a fantastic earning. It had a huge run up into earnings and then kind of popped off even more. This kind of goes in the same back of Wayfair, and people kind of just want to spend their money. So this goes between Shopify, eBay, Wayfair, Amazon. People are just spending their money instead of just going to the mall, going to J.Crew, which is going out of business, filed for bankruptcy, or going to the movie theater like AMC is having issues. They're spending their money via Shopify, via eBay, Amazon, and then of course Wayfair. So those are basically the analysis of the stories. So we can go ahead and pop these over here real fast. Let's go ahead and just go right down the chart list for Tesla. Tesla, again, it's up. It was up nearly 3% today, basically hitting a very short-term high here. We want it to see it break 850. It needs to break 850 for the purple little dots here, the parabolic SARs, to switch to the bottom and kind of create a little lofty effect for it to continue kicking higher, and from that point looking for 867, 816, 870 for potential kick higher. Could be some overhead resistance up there for a little bit until we get some more news and positive news flow, again due to the ongoing battle between him and suing the county where Tesla factory in Fremont operates. Again, to the downside, it's going to be, if it does start crashing or going down, it's going to be a pretty quick downturn. I believe is going to get down to like 744 for the first line of resistance. I kind of put it lightly below that because, again, I don't want to get a false negative there. Again, potentially going down lower. Again, we own this position long term, so again, I would love, I don't know if we're ever going to get it by around the 200 exponential moving average for a long-term hold. For trading purposes, this is what we're talking about here. And then next was Uber. So let's go look at Uber. So actually, Grubhub is actually halted right now. So you're not actually even to be able to trade it. So we kind of talked about Uber actually on the last live stream that we did on Sunday evening, where we kind of did like a quick little imaginary line here. And I think we asked what color people wanted, and I think I turned it green, maybe yellow. So basically just printing the beautiful road of green or cash or lack thereof due to the fact of they're doing an all-stock deal for Grubhub. This is basically looking at some overhead resistance here. We talked about the 200 exponential moving average here being some overhead resistance for a potential kick higher. Momentum still somewhat flat. RSI is trying to peak. Chaikin money flow is doing pretty good. We want this to kind of curl up more. Volume has been pretty significant due to the fact of just had earnings, and now with the news of it are trying to acquire a Grubhub. That is pretty fantastic news, again, like we talked about. So let's go ahead and look at GRUB. So it's GRUB. Again, they're currently halted, so you will not. Oh, it looks like it just got unhalted. So the prices are moving now. You're able to trade it. You kind of see here this has been kind of a straggler or a struggler, lack of a better words, on the daily chart. It's been having a multitude of issues here at the 200 exponential moving average, just not able to get out of its own way to break above it. Just there's a couple attempts here, and just each time it just failed, just getting slapped around, not having the greatest momentum of trying to break through that until they get that lovely text from Uber saying, hey, is it cool if we buy you? And then of course it just pops off, reaching at a high of around 64.50, potentially. Again, we talked about the deal being around $69 to $72, potentially when it's all said and done, saying that the overall deal could be done within 30 to 45 days. So it's pretty fast for an acquisition. That being said, this is going to be a hard one. This has been a kind of a fan favorite way back when, basically being in 18 had a huge run up, and ever since then, and the turn of 19 has been trading lower and lower. And you can kind of see that here again with the 21 exponential moving average on the weekly chart, just failing there as well, just kind of going in around it, but now kind of popping off due to the overall great news potentially of it combining forces with Uber. That being said, there's going to be some overhead resistance around 65, 67 potentially on this chart. Looking here back on the daily, we can go from on the daily chart here. We're going to do a quick fib for you folks. Do swing high to swing low. It broke above the 618 percentile move, which is around 60 bucks. Again, looking for a potential high, which would be honestly ideal for it to hit around $70. So that's going to be, I think, is not going to top it off, but that's going to be what excuse me, what Uber is trying to acquire it for potentially. Again, we'll have to get more news throughout the day. Again, it's going to be a very news-driven movement here, because if the deal goes south, it could come crashing down back to around $45. So be super careful with this one. It's going to be a fast mover without a doubt. But just be super mindful of this potential support here at $50 if it does come crashing down. So it's going to be found $50. So we're going to do initial. It's not going to be a heavy support level, but the initial support level is going to be coming back down to around 46. So we're going to do 2 levels there for a potential kind of coming down from there. Whew. And then we're going to do some Beyond Meat. And again, we kind of love this stock. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, woulda. This has been popping off ever since earnings, basically riding up the 5 exponential moving average. We kind of did discuss on the live stream on Sunday as well, this stock potentially trying to climb higher, potentially getting to break this certain extension here. We wanted to do a quick fib here. Again, this stock, like Grubhub, ran a lot the first year that it came out as an IPO, and then kind of drizzled off a little bit. So this is actually hitting the 50% retracement. So this is actually a super key level here around 145. So we want it to break above this. I'm going to move it just slightly above. I want to do 147. If it can break above that, again, it's got to close above it to retain that strength. The candle can go through it and then come back down and close below it, but we need it to close above that line to continue pushing higher. Again, with the very short initial support at 122, if it does come selling off. But again, level 2 support is going to be 105, and then a lot of level support, level 3 is going to be around $82, $83. Again, that is due to overall meat shortage going on here and the overall market, and just people being able to try different various new meat products. And not even meat, it's the vegan option. And then last, we're going to do Shop, and we're going to do probably eBay and Wafer for you as well, because they're all kind of the same category on the sense of it's just been popping off in the sense of ever since earnings, it's been super rising up on the 5 and 8 exponential moving average. This is, again, a total different time frame, total different scenarios with the overall pandemic going on. And when you see a pattern like this, if this was a year ago, you'd be like, oh, that's a short, because there's no way that anything could ride up this long. Ever since basically well over a month, it's just been riding up the 5 and 8 exponential moving average, basically nearly doubling itself in that time frame, its value, hitting a top today at 770. Let's call it $771. Again, this has been a monstrous run for this stock. It has been performing super well, and you can kind of see here, this is pretty insane here. It's hitting the 1618 up here for some resistance at 170. We'll just call it 165 basically. Some overhead resistance here. If it stays above this, again, this is going to be a super very momentum fast driving stock. This is going to be like an F1 or Formula 1 car. This is not like a Walmart or a very slow eddy kind of like a Prius kind of trade. Like if this thing moves, it's going to move really fast up or down. So be super careful of that. Be mindful of that. Trading smaller within these kind of high flyers, lack of a better words. Again, if it closes below the 5, nothing too crazy long as the 8 comes in to support. So initial like level 1, I would consider support going to be basically around the 8. So it's going to be around $710, and then the next level of support is going to be around $639, and then it's going to be coming into quite basically unknown territory. Basically could be around $590 or so. Some overhead resistance or some targeting. We could see again anything above this. This is basically uncharted space, so just be mindful of that. Potentially just kind of watching these moving averages print higher. And then we can do Wayfair, which has also been doing super well with earnings having a huge gap up, making huge deviation moves. We kind of have a price target at 203 potentially for it hitting up here. I believe that was a fib retracement there we did. But again, short-term leveling and support is be 165-ish. Again, it's been really high flyer. Again, the F1 car scenario, the 5 and 8, it's kind of far from the 5 and 8, so this could be, if something does decide to flip and the overall market starts selling off or kind of just treading water, this could come down substantially to the 170 level, and then from that could be 136 for level 2, and then from all the way down there could hit the 200 exponential moving average, which could be around $100. But again, being mindful of this, keep it on a super short lease. And then last but not least, we'll do eBay, not Weebay, E-B-A-Y. Again, this looks exactly like Wayfair, right? Kind of had a great earnings. It just been riding the 5 and 8 up. This is again strictly to the overall pandemic and the virus things. Like people are still spending their money, but they're just spending it online now. So it's a switch within the marketplace. And that being said, I want to shout out to someone in the Discord chat. Again, if you want to join the Discord completely free, it's down in the description below. And we just talk about stocks throughout the day, in the evening, or whenever. Share trading ideas and so forth. Super fun, cool environment to join if you want to. That being said, someone in the chat was like trying to get $50 calls, but that was like way back when it was like $40. I said, be very careful in there, my friend. Like that's gonna have to fly quite a bit within a month to get $50, and it's been climbing steadily. And I'm sure that individual's call options have been gone up significant in value. Again, initial support, we can do some fibs here really fast. Go here. Boom. It didn't click to the high here. There. So initial support, resistance, overhead resistance going to be the 127 percentile move. That's going to be around $46. Right here, we're going to create an alert. If I can, there we go. There, and then some way overhead resistance going to be at 51, or just call it $52, lack of a better words. And then support down below is going to be a lot of support basically coming in around the 39 to 38 level. So we're actually going to just move this up here for initial support if the market tries to sell off or change direction. So that was quite a bit of information there. I know that was quite a lot. Again, thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you're interested on supporting the channel and getting a couple extra tools and knowledge-based stuff, I have a Patreon page that I just launched. Going to be sharing some more chart ideas, sharing my watch list and different things like that. Again, it directly helps me support the channel, and at the same time, you learn a thing or two. And again, I appreciate everyone. If you like and subscribe, if you learned something from this, I greatly do appreciate it. Again, this is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.